This episode is brought to you by Smarty, your go to address data intelligence. Whether you need address validation, autocomplete, geocoding, or property data, Smarty has you covered. Trusted by top companies like Uber for lightning fast, accurate address solutions, Smarty makes sure your data is clean, verified, and up to date. Simplify your data with Smarty and make every address count. Check them out at smarty.com/podcast and see how they can help your business. Namaste and welcome back to another episode of the Sapient. Today we have Amy on the podcast and she's also a fellow podcaster. How are you doing, Amy?
I am so good, Ganesh. Thank you so much for having me.
First of all, thank you so much for being here and thank you so much for staying up late for us.
I'm usually awake anyway, just conscious. We'll
Mhm.
see.
Yeah, barely conscious.
I'm
I
holding
think
my eyes open.
yeah, I think that should be the title of this episode, right? Barely conscious.
That's me of late.
Not you, but it seems like the whole civilization,
It does feel that way, doesn't it?
right? Like it's very hard to find conscious people around.
Yes. I mean,
Yeah.
conscious or like burying your head in the sand,
Hmm.
like pretending that things are not happening like they are.
Yeah. Yeah. And more of lately, it's more about food, right? Like
For
it's
sure.
almost like a bio warfare at this point of time, right? Yeah. Do you like food?
I love food.
Yeah. I mean, if I don't know what would I say if somebody said I don't like food. Like I really don't have an answer for that.
I talked to a girl a couple weeks ago.
Hmm.
No, I it was my first full week in Virginia, and I went out to dinner. Well, I just had dessert because I have dinner with my dog. But she was like, "Oh my gosh, I there are times when I forget to eat." I'm like, I don't understand those words. What does that
Yep.
even mean?
Yeah.
But it
Yeah.
everyone's different.
Hmm.
I
Yeah, but
I'm very large. I clearly don't forget to eat.
yeah, but also imagine forgetting your natural instincts, right?
Right?
And eating is like most primal part of a human being,
It's fuel.
right? Yeah, and some people like to make fun, right? Like I'm fueled by depression and anxiety. I'm like, yeah, try quitting food, right? Like
Yeah,
people would be very quickly brought back to their senses. I feel like,
for sure. Yeah.
right? And also the fact that um like if you look at today's children, not even children, even people my age, like 25, 28, 30, whatever, the disconnect between, I would say, the process of manufacturing food organically or even just by naturally,
Right.
and the consumption, right? The disconnect is so weird. It's not even bad at this point, it's just weird.
Right.
Because um, I saw a YouTube video where and they were telling children that, do you know cows also drink milk, and they were like, what? Right? It's almost weird for them because they've always seen this as a product from the
Right.
cow, and they're like, how can cow drink milk? Like they forgot the whole process, right? Like why does a cow produce milk at the first place,
Right.
right?
Yeah. I mean, food is an interesting thing because I mean, you were talking about consumption and there are people that, just go crazy and eat a lot,
Hmm.
and eat, all the decadent foods and, the rich foods and very expensive foods. And then there's, people that, like I would say, forget to eat, but there's also the people that are left out. And those people
Hmm.
are more and more, that population is growing.
Yeah.
It's something I'm very, very conscious of
Hmm.
all
Yeah.
the time.
Yeah, but it's at the same time, right? Like for example, United States. I think 40% of produce goes to dumps, if I'm right.
Oh,
Right.
I don't know the I believe that.
hmm So I'm like, it really doesn't make sense because we are supposed to have shitload of food, but we don't.
Yeah. I mean, we're putting 40% in the landfill
Yeah.
that and they're I mean, like I was saying, the huge
hmm
amount of people that are growing that are hungry
Yeah.
and we're just wasting food.
hmm
It's gross.
Yeah. Also, it also feels like, right, as we look at the world as one, right? Um, you know, people are hungry, but they're getting fed the wrong things,
Yes. Oh
right?
my gosh, the fast food and the junk food
hmm Yeah.
that's offered is that
hmm
is mm,
But
not good.
I almost feel like fast food started out from a very positive mindset, right?
Yes, convenient.
hmm But it slowly walked towards, being, yeah, let's not do that,
Let's not. Yeah.
right?
Yeah, it's really really sad. And I have this conversation often that
Mm-hmm.
you know the fast food and the junk foods are and the super highly processed foods
Mm-hmm.
are more affordable
Yeah.
than real food, healthy
Mm-hmm.
food, food that will
Yeah.
nourish the body as opposed to just make the body sick.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
Yeah.
like nearly impossible to get the healthy food
Mm-hmm.
for some folks.
Yeah, but I also hate those neighborhoods, especially in US, where they have lawns. I'm like, what are you doing?
Oh, like watering grass?
Yeah,
Yes.
and big lawns, not even small ones.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, you're spending these valuable resources on growing nothing, and you don't even have horses or sheep to eat that grass,
Right. Right.
right?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I just moved and
Mm-hmm.
my front lawn is like this blank canvas.
Mm-hmm.
And so every week I go to the farmer's market and I pick up a different, tree or flower or
Mm-hmm.
something. I bought a hibiscus plant and I bought a fig tree
Mm-hmm.
and a butterfly bush and all these things and I'm trying to create this food forest, but I'm also poor, so I can only, I mean, not poor, but
Mm-hmm.
I can't afford to just go crazy and buy everything. So it's a slow process. But
Mm-hmm.
I feel really bad because everyone in this area is very obsessive about the way that their lawn looks.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so, this guy across the street from me came over and he didn't know how to like say hello, so he mowed my lawn. I was like, oh, no, I it didn't hurt my feelings. I felt bad because I didn't have cash to pay him,
Mm-hmm.
but he was like, no, 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 I just wanted to say hi, and I couldn't figure out how to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And people keep asking me like, can I, do you want me to mow your lawn? I'm like, you can mow it once, but I don't want to do this long term. Like, I want to grow food.
Yeah, yeah. So, do you have an HOA there?
Do I have a what?
HOA?
Oh, HOA. Not
Yeah,
where I am. No.
good.
No. I'm in agricultural
Mm,
land because I
got
brought my
it.
chickens with me for my move.
Nice. Yeah, yeah. I mean, HOAs are I would say, the most micro authoritarian, like figures, right? It's same as the school, the boards in schools, right? Like, I feel like it's like giving micro authority to somebody who doesn't know how to handle it.
Oh, I could not. I couldn't do that. I just don't like, I'm paying all this money for this home and I don't want someone to tell me what I can do with it.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
just so
that's
messed
what I
up.
thought, right? Imagine the whole country which was built on freedom,
What
you know, getting
a
trolled,
concept.
right? Getting trolled by, you know, old ladies and old, gentlemen. Like, come on, like get a handle on it, right? Um,
Oh my gosh.
because I have a friend, who is working on a food forest, but she has an HOA where she lives, and there is this huge issue going on because they're like, you will drive down the prices of the real estate. And she's like, yeah, anyways, a crash is coming, so who who really cares, right?
Oh my
And
gosh.
if
How dare you grow food? What?
yeah, like how dare you be independent, right? It's unheard concept, you know.
It is crazy pants.
Yeah, because what they're saying is, it will drive down the real estate prices. But my point of view on that is, if being self-sufficient, right, and getting the best output out of your own land drives down the prices, then yeah, maybe the person who's talking doesn't know real estate clearly, right?
Oh gosh. I can't even begin to understand the mindset in
Hmm.
that.
Yeah, yeah. And also, it's amazing how people have forgotten like the most necessary skills in terms of food, right? Like they don't know how to grow, they don't know how to even identify good fruit from bad fruit.
Right.
um, and in India, because that's where I'm from, although I talk a lot of American nonsense, but I'm still Indian.
American nonsense.
Yeah. So in India, it's like every third person is a farmer. Like that's the
Yeah.
amount of farmers that we have over here.
Right.
um
And here the farmers are retiring and they're a rare
yeah.
breed.
Yeah, but still it's prevalent, I would say. And it's alarming for me to even see how, city folks, because I'm a city folk. So, I'm seeing, city folks forgetting where they come from, right? And, acting all Western and stuff.
Mm,
Like, like they want to go to Starbucks and, McDonald's or whatever. I'm like, yeah, that you should really not do it. Maybe, just maybe, because yeah, look at what's happening, to the countries, right, where McDonald's came from. So maybe, just maybe, like be a little bit more careful, right, with what
right.
we do. And I go to schools and teach children how to do farming and gardening and stuff. And I am already seeing that disconnect in India, right? And
Mm,
people don't understand this, but India is one of those major food baskets of the world, right? Because we export a lot of stuff.
yeah.
And I'm scared that if I'm seeing that trend here, right, in cities with children who have a total disconnect to soil, right? Soil is just an essence. um, I would imagine it's pretty shit on your side too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
So how do you see this thing going in terms of future? Like where do you think we'll end up?
I that is such a if I knew,
Hmm.
I feel like I could fix something or
Hmm.
start a movement or something. Like I'm working on it, but I'm I don't want to say I'm just one person and I can't make a
Hmm.
difference, but I feel like there are some things that you need like a popular vote.
Hmm.
Like I was um I was just at the store yesterday picking up cheese.
Hmm.
And I asked, so in my store in Maine, they would sell cheese ends. So
Hmm.
if you go to like a deli and you say, I'd like, however much of whatever cheese, they'll like slice it until it gets to this like weird end.
Hmm.
And then they don't slice it anymore. So Virginia, where I am now, is, um, oh, I don't want to offend anyone. Um,
You will. Yeah, I can pretty much guarantee it.
they are not as progressive in a lot of
Hmm.
ways
Hmm.
as even Maine. So, like, in Maine, I could go and say, do you have any cheese ends to sell? And they would
Hmm.
say, sure. They're a little bit cheaper because they're not pretty, but
Yeah.
they make mac and cheese just like anything. And the dog eats the cheese, and I eat the
Hmm.
cheese, and it's just cheaper, and then you can get more cheese. But things like that. And so,
Hmm.
talking to them, I've been to 3 or 4 different grocery stores in the few weeks I've been here, and I asked them all, and they're like, "Oh, we just throw that away." I'm like, "Oh, that's food. Why are you doing that?" But it's just talking to somebody yesterday, and she happened to be the deli manager, and she was like, I've never been asked that before. And I
Hmm.
was like, it makes the best mac and cheese. She was like, I bet that's true. She's like, I don't like mac and cheese. I'm like, never mind. I can't talk to you. But um she she was like, that's a really interesting idea. She's like, if
Hmm.
people wanted it, then we should probably do that. But of course,
Yeah.
then you have to talk to all the people. I wanted to just, walk around and be like, hey, would you buy cheese ends if there was such a thing? Just like
Yeah.
start the conversation.
Hmm.
And I know it's such a sort of petty thing, but at the same
Hmm.
time, like it's just, like I hate the waste,
Hmm. But
everything in plastic.
also,
And
yeah, but also it looks like it's very anti-capitalist, isn't it? To get the best out of everything and they're just throwing away food. It doesn't make sense, right?
mm,
Because at this point, it's not even capitalism, right? It's just showboating, right? Like, the food needs to be pretty and all the apples need to have same size
yes,
and color.
yeah, yeah, if it's not pretty, get rid of it,
Yeah.
for sure.
I hope we don't do that with humans.
Oh geez,
Right?
I mean, we sort of are
Yeah, yeah, we sort
in
of are.
ways,
Yeah,
you know.
definitely. Um, yeah, because another trend, right, that I'm seeing is, with all the farmer protests that is going on with in your country, right, in terms of owning their farming equipment and being able to
Mm,
maintain it, right? That's a big thing.
yeah, for sure.
Surprisingly, India and United States are kind of opposite to each other in terms of that, because India started out as a country because we were ruled by white people for like 200 years. We started off by centralized technology, right? So you'd have to give your farming equipment to the service
Mm,
center. And
right.
now the trend is, people are going towards maintaining the things themselves. Whereas in United States, I see that you people started out, right, saying, free country, and now it's like, you know get a subscription if you want to drive the next tractor.
uh yeah.
Right? i
Yeah.
mean I understand that it's a trend, and if it works, it works. I don't know why it works or how, but I
Right, I was
clear
gonna say, who does that work for?
right, but it clearly works for, uh, works in terms of raising the cost of food,
100%.
right? I mean, if just imagine, if a farmer has to pay like $400 a month in subscription to use his own equipment that he paid for.
Right.
Yeah, he's going to drive up the prices. He or she is going to drive up the prices. That's just natural,
Yep.
right? And then
That's
we
true.
have, we have this whole kind of illusion that, we don't have enough food, right?
Yes. Right, because the farmers have to charge more because they need the
Hmm.
equipment. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
messed up.
it's messed up, and it's also like farmers are always left alone. I don't know why. Like, they're like, government is like, yeah man, go do your stuff, like, right? It's literally, saying get fucked to somebody, on their face. That's farmers, right? Of
Yeah.
any country, be it India, United States, Argentina, Brazil, any country.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it's such an interesting thing that farmers who provide the food, the
Hmm.
nourishment for all the people,
Hmm.
the people that are growing the food are not regarded in the way that they should be.
Yep.
They are not given the respect that they should.
Hmm.
Um, and they are, it's they're sort of a dying breed because it's so expensive
Yep.
that, the younger generations are like, F that. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to be in debt and be poor my whole life and work my butt off in the heat.
Hmm.
It's not an attractive thing, but
Hmm.
you have to really believe in it
Yeah.
to be doing that, because it is
Hmm.
not easy.
Yeah, it's not easy, definitely it's not easy when government also doesn't help,
Ah,
right?
true story.
And when I talk to progressive people, I ask them, like, you talk a lot about AI and technology, which is definitely good for the world because I am also a digital marketer, so that works in favor of me. But I asked him, what was the last thing that you saw, which was an act or a bill that was passed by the government which helps a farmer?
Right.
And most of the time, it's nothing.
Yeah. I mean, there was the farm bill.
Yeah.
Like I can't even remember how long ago that was,
Hmm.
but I think that there was a new one that was presented, but I was
Hmm.
told I heard that it was a bad deal, and so no one should have
Hmm.
taken that. Um,
Yeah.
but just they're not. I don't know if the people in the government in the lead are
Hmm.
really educated on what's happening.
No, I think it's just they don't care about it, to be honest. Because
Yeah,
I feel like food is a system that has always worked, right?
somehow.
Somehow,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean,
Well,
by
the
fate
yeah,
or luck, right? It has worked somehow.
somehow. I mean, yeah, I mean people a lot of people are eating because we
Hmm.
have um, welfare
Hmm.
programs and stuff like that, but they're getting junk food. So they
Yeah.
are also, all the junk food that we have, like
Hmm.
it's not even just the fact that we're feeding people, but we're feeding people things that are making them sick.
Hmm.
And
Yep.
so that's all showing up in the insurance side.
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
and
Let's not talk
and
about that. We'll make more people sad.
but yeah, it's a little bit tragic.
Right.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Because at least in
I
India,
yeah.
agriculture income is not taxed. It's not taxable, right? Yeah, but I don't think that's the case in your side of the lake, right?
No,
Yeah.
I don't believe so. I mean, I'm not a
But
farmer.
tech companies do get tax holidays.
Mm.
That's just funny, at this point of time. It's not even sad because in India there is a lot of
Right, you
pressure.
laugh because if you don't, you're gonna cry.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. Because in India, what happens is, let's say you had bad crops this year, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
it didn't turn out. The loans are waived. Like they're just like, okay, government's gonna pay for it, right? At least some movement is there. But I see, I see a US farmer and I feel bad for them because they're like, yeah, we need like $500,000 to buy a tractor and maintain it. And
Right.
I'm like, yeah, yeah.
No problem.
$500,000 would get you so much, tractors in India, you couldn't drive it.
Yeah. Right. You can't afford the fuel to go into it, or
Yeah.
the maintenance or whatever. Yeah.
Hmm.
Um, yeah. I mean, I know last year in Maine, where I was living, it rained for uh, 5 months. I
Hmm.
think there were like 2 weekends all summer that
Hmm.
it did not rain.
Hmm.
And so a lot of the crops were literally drowning.
Yeah.
And so it was a rough year. And man, if I was a farmer, I
Hmm.
would just I would have bailed so fast. So I give so much credit to all the farmers that came back and
Yeah.
did it this year. And thank goodness it was a better year. They had a great year for
Hmm.
crops this year. But last year, like it was dismal, the
Hmm.
conversations that you would have with them.
Yeah.
And I just think about the people that have CSA, so community supported agriculture
Hmm.
programs to feed people, their expectations,
Hmm.
and to not be able to fulfill that. I don't know how I would handle that
Hmm.
kind of pressure and failure.
Yeah. But I almost feel like, farmers at this point don't give a fuck about it, right?
I mean, they can't. There's nothing they can do, right?
Yeah.
It
But
just is.
also, it's also the question of how much should a person care, right? Because there is the financial cost, they have no help. People don't give a shit about farmers or quality food, right? And they bargain food like it's textile or it's technology or something. It's
Right.
not, right?
Yeah.
I know an economist said, I forgot his name. He said a good year for a farmer is just an average year because he's just making up the losses of the previous year.
Oh man. Yes.
right? Because I'm a racing fan, there is a saying in motorsports that says, if you want to be a millionaire in motorsports, you enter the sport as a billionaire, right? And I'm like, yeah, try farming,
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
right?
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I'm such a supporter of the farmers because I'm in awe. I'm in
Hmm.
awe of all that they can do and the fact that they feed people.
Hmm.
Um, and I don't know. I've made friends with a lot of farmers, and it's
Hmm.
really that's where it's at. Like
Yeah.
especially especially after the COVID pandemic,
Yes.
when things were in short supply, you couldn't get
Yeah.
anything at the
But
grocery
Amy,
store.
but the point is, the COVID breakdown was not even a natural or an shortage from farming side. It was more of a logistical issue.
Yes.
Now imagine actual
Yeah.
shortage of food,
Yeah. Oh
right?
gosh. But
Because
a
you
lot of
know,
the farmers built
mhm.
like little farm stands at their
Yep,
houses.
yeah, but that kind of trend has always been up and down, right? Whenever a chain comes in, they get destroyed.
Hmm.
All of the people go there, and then once the chain raises the price, they again come back to the farmer, you know.
Yeah.
And I understand from a consumer perspective that they need to spend the least amount on food because they have like Netflix
Mouths to
subscription to
feed.
pay to,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Amy, there is a study that says we went from 2014, I guess, where an average person was paying around $50 on subscriptions, right, in terms of tech. Today, it has the average is somewhere around $450.
Oh my gosh.
The average, right?
$450.
Time for a quick breather. Ever struggled with messy address data? Yeah, it's a pain, but not when you have got Smarty. From address validation to geocoding, these guys make sure your data is as clean as your favorite podcast playlist. They are super quick, super accurate, and trusted by the big leagues. Think Uber level. So, if you are in need of some address wizardry, head over to smarty.com/podcast and let Smarty take care of the rest. Now, back to our chat.
For subscriptions?
Yeah, so it's like everything related to tech and internet.
No way. I
Yeah,
mean, I some people might.
I mean, yeah, there are people who pay a lot of money,
Sure.
right? But if you look at food prices, it hasn't gone that up by that much, and we still like to bitch about food shortage. That's irony, right?
It's yes. Yeah. I mean, yeah. And I mean, I remember I heard a stat that in Maine, at least, where we have good amounts of land
Hmm.
and we have quite a few farmers, but I think is 90% of what is grown in Maine is exported.
Yeah,
And
because
I
of
was like,
monocropping. Yeah,
what is that about?
yeah, exactly.
um, and I mean, just knowing that the town that I lived in had to expand the homeless shelter
Hmm. Yeah,
because people
that's
can't,
sad.
it just, well, absolutely, but like
Hmm.
those people need to eat,
Yep.
but the food is coming from outside. It just is,
Hmm.
it was beyond my understanding. It's
Hmm.
still beyond my understanding.
Yeah, because in India, the problem I'm seeing a similar problem is even like 10 years ago, right? Farmers were not really dependent on a free market to feed themselves
Hmm.
because Indian farmers tend to grow whatever they need on their own.
Right.
And then they do the monocropping, but now more and more people are doing monocropping, which means they have to be reliant on the free market to feed themselves. And
Hmm.
guess what, if you have a bad year, you're just fucked because you don't have the capability to grow, you don't have the capacity to sell, right?
Right.
And you're just stuck in this place where you don't know where to go.
Right.
Yeah, I wish more farmers became self-sufficient once again.
Yeah.
right?
I had a recent podcast guest
Mm-hmm.
who has started somewhat of a co-op or a,
Mm-hmm.
I want to say commune, but
Mm-hmm.
they have there's a group of farmers, a group of people that are purchasing
Mm-hmm.
um, like shared purchasing stuff like that. So like a bunch of farmers would go in and like share a tractor
Mm-hmm.
or share a freeze dryer or something like that. And
Yeah.
so, they're all sharing the costs and everyone has use of that
Mm-hmm.
and they would just trade off.
Yeah.
And also would like buy large amount, buy things in bulk and just like share it,
Mm-hmm.
go in on the purchase and, get a better price because you're buying in bulk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think we need more of that. We need
Mm-hmm.
more community in purchasing and,
Mm-hmm.
just more sharing. We need more sharing. Just share. Can we just share? Can we share, Ganesh?
No, I don't think so.
Everyone wants to be so self-sufficient and like to each his own. And that's, whatever it is. But
Yeah, because
I just,
I feel like that's the breakdown of family structure. That is what is led to self-sufficiency as a word,
mm-hmm.
right? Because US went from a joint family to small families to nuclear family. Now everybody living alone. So yeah,
Yeah,
breakdown of a family structure is the first thing that a government would love to do,
right.
because you don't have any unity, you can't do shit. Right?
Jeez Louise.
Yeah, I mean, when I talk to Americans and I say, like, I live with my parents, because that's what you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to run away from your responsibilities,
Right. Well,
right?
I mean, there's that, and these days a lot of people are going back to live with their parents because they can't afford to live on their own.
That's just selfish, right?
I don't even know about that. Like if I had a parent, I might have
Yeah,
had to go to a parent.
yeah, of course. I mean, that's better than becoming a homeless, right? Yeah,
Exactly.
but you see, like, what I'm trying to say is the family values stay only when you stay with your family. It's not like you live in Maine and I live in California and the family works. It doesn't,
Right.
right? Um,
Totally.
yeah, because the whole breakdown of this family structure is very interesting if you really think about it, because you know America is very good at capitalizing everything or anything, right? You guys created retirement villages. Imagine that.
Right.
If I go to my grandmother and explain to her what does a retirement village consist of, it wouldn't make sense to her. She'd be like, "What? Like, so what do I do there?"
Well, I mean, I didn't realize that
Mhm.
the US did that, but I guess that makes sense. Just,
Yeah,
kick
because
them out when
we
they're
don't have retire villages.
too much work. Um
No, Amy. I think that's not the it. I feel like, and I'm being very brutal by saying retirement villages are like the recycle bin of a computer. Once a productivity of a human is done, you
yeah.
cannot suck any more life out of them. So like, yeah, man, go chill. Don't come back, right? Like that's your grave.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and those, a lot of those retirement villages are not awesome,
Mhm. Yeah, definitely
but
not.
some of them are really cool. Some of
Yeah,
them are not.
but the question is, can you afford it?
That is exactly.
Right.
Um, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and if you're, in a retirement village,
Mhm.
it's not like, um,
I mean, the life must be pretty sad, I would say.
I mean, sometimes, yeah. I mean, I
Mhm.
think that it's. I mean, I would live in a retirement village. I
Mhm.
don't know that I could live in every one of them, but I think it's cool to have people that are your age that you can have conversations with and whatever. If you are doing it before you are, I mean, as you were saying,
Mhm.
all the life has been sucked out of them and they're not useful anymore.
Mhm.
Um, that does not sound like fun.
Yeah, that definitely
But
doesn't like sound
but if
fun,
you're
but
like,
also, but
yeah,
Amy, I can tell you one thing, right? Having conversation with people your age is good, but living with them is pretty annoying, I would say.
Well,
Yeah, because
sure.
you are frustrated, you're angry. So is everybody.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's well, yeah. I mean, my
Right.
friends and I have talked about doing something like that and all living together in a
Yeah.
place,
Hmm.
but we are very, very close.
Yeah.
I think
Got it.
that you would just need to make friends with those people and just, bear with it if they are having a moment, because the alternative is, again, like
Very
homeless.
dark. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah.
So, I mean, I think they can be they can actually be super fun. My
Mm-hmm.
mom lived in one for a little bit, and it was pretty awesome, and I
Mm-hmm.
would not hesitate to live there
Got it.
when I am done living on my own.
Hmm. Yeah, but
Um,
what I'm trying to say is it can be an exception, but it should not be the norm, right? Like,
right.
you
Families should
know,
take care of each other.
yeah, if you have like, four daughters and five sons or whatever, like, even two sons or even one son, you should not be going to a retirement village,
Right.
right?
I have none of those people.
Nice.
So
Yeah, you don't
when the
have to worry
time
about that.
comes, I
Yeah.
sort of am going to be forced to do that.
Hmm.
And it's fine. I will go to Connecticut. I will stay in that place, and I will be super happy.
Yeah. Or you could just, live on your own.
But I hear what you're saying. Well, I
Right.
I am living on my own, but there is going
Yeah.
to be a time when it's going to be hard, and
Uh-huh.
um, I
Yeah.
can't do all the things that I need to.
Yep.
But
Or
sooner than later is better
uh-huh.
for moving out.
Yeah, or you could be like my grandfather who insisted, living freely, right? You know, until he was like 98. Sorry, 99, I would say. Yeah, and then he just got ill, and within like 2 months he passed away. So yeah, I mean that's the perfect life model, I would say, that
That's
one
the
should
perfect
follow,
life model. I mean,
right?
I don't see myself living to 99. I live in the US and we eat crap food.
Yeah, but you
Um,
have good environment because you're not living in like toxic cities,
the true story. But
right?
yeah, it's hard to say. I mean,
Mhm.
I feel like, I feel like I'm going to be a total downer. Like
Mhm.
almost everyone's going to die of cancer or a heart attack. So
Mhm.
it's just a matter of time. And
Or
or
I don't want to say, or something
um,
that's manufactured in a lab,
hmm,
right?
okay.
Biowarfare. Yeah, I mean, moving away from sad things.
Right. Yeah, right. I
Yeah,
the future is
very bright, optimistic.
very, very, um but yeah, I mean, we just have to our generation has to be better. We just have to be
Hmm.
better. We got to band together and be like, this is not what we want, and we got to do
Yeah,
better. And
definitely.
I don't know how to reach them all, but
Hmm.
I'm
I mean, this is a platform,
doing my best.
right?
This is a platform, and mine is a
Yeah.
platform as well.
Hmm.
And just, yeah, get on as many podcasts as we can and
Yeah, but
tell everyone
unfortunately, I don't think this particular episode will be aired in retirement villages because the management will just hate me. Right? They're like, yeah, man, you gonna talk shit about me. Right?
I mean, podcast the cool thing about podcasting is you make your own
Uh-huh.
rules, and that's
Yep. Yeah.
I mean,
And
unless it's not
sometimes,
technically your podcast, Ganesh.
yes, there are those, right? Yeah. Technically, they don't own shit.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah. Walking away from bad things and negative things, to more negative things. Um, like, are you aware of like what a joke that organic labeling has become in your country?
Whew, yeah. Um, it's unfortunate. I mean, it's unfortunate that it's necessary to be that specific.
Hmm.
Like, vegetable produce should be produce, and it's just too bad that it's been, it's oh gosh. um And then of course all the anything that's organic is wrapped in
Hmm.
plastic, which is,
Nice. I mean, better, I would say. Yeah.
I mean, it's obvious that it's organic. It's
Uh-huh.
also wrapped in plastic, which is going to leave some plastic, and it's
Hmm.
just plastic is
Yeah, but
bad.
also, Amy, according to USDA, there are some chemicals allowed in organic farming.
Yes.
So, the Walmart of chemical industry really likes the label organic,
Yeah.
right?
I mean, there are so many stupid labels that mean literally nothing. I mean,
Nothing.
organic means something.
Yeah. I mean,
It's
it used to, at
better.
least. Yeah.
Right. It's
Uh,
better than
mhm.
commercially produced or,
Yeah.
farmed, but it's still, it's
What
not.
about natural?
Stop it with the natural. Yeah,
Yeah.
natural flavorings.
No, but
Mm,
also, Amy, I recently found out that if you use chemicals that are made out of natural ingredients, you can call your farming as natural.
yeah, natural means nothing to me. I just think
Yeah.
of, I mean, I think literally,
I
like I
mean,
was, I was starting to say natural flavorings, like,
mhm. Yeah, also cyanide is also natural. So, yeah, I mean, it's a very potent chemical fertilizer. So, yeah,
yeah,
I don't know.
I know, I know. I mean, yeah, I mean, there was a bagel that I bought bagels at a store that were they were blueberry bagels, and I love
Hmm.
blueberry bagels,
Hmm.
but we found out that after actually looking at the ingredients, there are no
Hmm.
blueberries in the blueberry bagels. It's like all these chemicals that make it taste like blueberry,
Hmm.
like, and but
Yeah.
it's called natural flavorings.
Yep. Natural flavoring, natural stabilizers, right?
Damn it.
Acid stabilizers, and yeah, we are eating a lot of chemicals.
Yeah, I mean, and then yeah, oh gosh, this can just go so dark.
Yep. Yep. Um,
Going
yeah,
back
and
to
I
medical.
also, but I also feel bad for young children in schools where there is public like food system where
Mm-hmm.
companies sponsor to get their food on the board. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, have you heard of that saying which says if something is free, you are the product? Have you ever heard of it?
Right. Right. What are you feeding these children? My gosh.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a big supporter of the. I mean, I don't have kids, but I think
Hmm.
that there should be gardens at every school.
Yep.
I mean, literally, and
Yeah.
then
And
teach
then
them teach them
gardening
how to
and
grow it.
farming, exactly, that should be a subject,
Yes,
just like
absolutely.
mathematics and physics.
Yes,
Yeah, because I've never used Pythagoras theorem in my life. But yeah, if crisis hits, I would have to, prepare my own food, right?
right.
There
I
is
mean,
no
this
like
it's
ifs and buts
necessary
about it.
information,
Yeah.
and I mean, they have all that space on the school grounds.
Yep.
I actually I had a podcast guest who taught physics,
Hmm.
and he built a
Hmm.
raised garden bed, and he taught them how to garden. And they were
Nice.
not impressed at first, but then when they saw
Hmm.
things coming up, they were like, "Oh, hey now,
Hmm.
that's really cool." And then they were
Yeah.
totally into it. But he like taught them aquaponic gardening,
Yep.
and
Actually, that's what I have found out recently. When I'm teaching children that aquaponic is the best system you could teach to a child. And if any of my listeners have children, I would suggest you to teach your child aquaponics. There are few things involved. One, there is no soil, so they're more intrigued like how does this work because they have studied in the textbook that
mhm,
plant comes from a soil. And
right,
second, aquaponic has 40% faster growth time. So if something was coming at like 60 days, it would come in 40 days. So
right,
children don't have patience. So, it would be helpful, right? And
right.
also, you don't need a lot of chemical to do aquaponics. At least in India, I don't know about you guys. So it also tastes better,
Okay,
right? And aquaponic can be automated. So even if your child doesn't have to take care of a goldfish, just like that, they don't have to take care of the plant. It can be automated. So
Right.
I would say that's the best thing that you could get your child hooked on, because once they see anything grow, yeah, they're hooked.
Yeah, for sure. And then if you don't have to get your hands dirty, but then
Hmm.
for me, like the soil part is like
Hmm.
the therapy.
Yeah.
I call it dirt therapy and
Hmm.
gardening therapy because
Hmm.
it feels so good to be grounded and get your hands dirty and to work
Yeah.
the soil.
But Amy, younger people look at soil as disgust, and it's something that's disgusting.
Dirty.
Yeah, I mean, you came from there, you're gonna go back there. So I don't know. Maybe love it or maybe respect it a little bit more.
Yeah. But anyway, I
Right.
mean, I think that schools. I agree with you. I think that all schools should
Mhm.
have a garden, and kids should learn how to do that. It's
Yeah. The reason I started, helping children is kind of reverse psychology, because I wanted parents to be responsible, and I saw they were the least responsible people. Like they did not care. So like, okay, let's do this. Let's get your child hooked, and the particular child is going to bring their parents in, and
mm,
that's what I'm seeing. Because when children are actively doing something, right, parents, I don't know why they want to get, they want to interfere. So
yeah.
I'm like, yeah, go ahead and do it, and now parents are doing it.
Right. Well, I mean, it's like school sports. The
Yep.
parents drop them off and they go to the
Hmm.
games and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Get them involved in the gardening.
Yeah. So if children come, parents are gonna come in
Yeah.
naturally.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the kids will have something healthy to eat.
Yes,
What a
definitely.
concept!
Yeah, I mean, what a revolutionary concept, right? Like we should probably patent that idea.
Let's do it. I mean, it's already out there. I can't take any credit, but I'm a big supporter of that. I think that's a brilliant
Mhm.
idea,
Yeah.
and we need more gardens. We just need more
Yes.
gardens.
Yeah, we need more gardens. We need more honeybees.
Hmm.
We need more animals. Yeah, we need a lot actually.
Yeah. We need a lot of things, but I think that if we're growing things in our gardens, we put
Hmm.
some pollinator attracting
Hmm.
plants
Hmm.
that will attract the pollinators and the bees
Hmm.
and there's two growing food attracting bees.
Yep. Yep. They're very
And then the
important.
animals will probably come behind. I mean, they're going to be munching on your food and whatever.
Yeah.
It's
Again. Yes. Um. Yeah. Uh, Let me ask you this, right? What do you think humans are capable of?
that's a big question, man.
Yep.
um I mean, humans are, if we were all on the same side, we could do
We
really
are.
great things. We could do really great things. I mean, if we
Hmm.
all just understood the the game plan,
Hmm.
and we're just not all on the same side. We're not all in
Hmm.
the same mindset there.
Hmm. I think we're
Because
getting there.
I maybe.
Yeah, I mean, an alien invasion would definitely help now.
I mean, I think that we're getting closer, and I think that
Mm.
people are getting it. It's
Mhm.
just a matter of, um,
Crisis.
yeah, like we need the motivation for real.
Right? Yeah. I mean, we need a crisis or a war or, something tragic to happen.
Pandemic.
Pandemic didn't do shit, if I'm being honest, because, farmers kept working.
The farmers kept working. Thank God.
Yes. And thank farmers more than God, I feel like, because
Yeah, well, yeah, but I
we would
mean,
be
thank
screwed. We
goodness the
all
farmers were
failed.
able to still work, and
Yeah.
so people were still able to get food. I mean, I know that our farmers markets closed down for maybe a couple months, but then,
But you could go to restaurants,
mm-mm.
right? You could
No, our
you could go
restaurants
and
were
eat
closed.
food. You
No,
can. Oh, nice for you, I guess, because
ours
then
were
everything was shut
closed.
down. Yeah.
Yeah.
In India, people just didn't give a shit. You know, they were scared in first and second waves, third wave, and all. They were like, yeah, whatever.
We've seen this before. We know how it ends.
Yeah, and like there is something
We're
that
not all gonna die, just some
no,
of
but
us.
also there is something that needs to be studied in India, that is like Indians and their kind of hate towards law.
Mm,
Yeah, like people, we were told what to do for 250 years, so they're like, yeah, we're kind of tired of it.
I hear that. Yeah.
Right.
Don't tell me what to do.
Yeah, yeah, kind of, because it's, we are a very young country. We are just like 76 years old,
Wow.
right? So there
I
are
didn't realize
people
that.
that exist who were like dinosaurs, like they're like pre-independence.
Oh, yeah.
And we have freedom fighters still alive, you know who fought for our freedom. So it's like we are a very young country, and we are not, you know avid lovers of law to the letter. We're like, yeah, we are going to do what we feel like doing, and I might follow like 50% of the rule, 60%, not not the total 100.
Well, what are the, I mean, are there consequences to the law?
Nope. I mean, there is, but there is something that, when a law is broken in mass, it's not a, crime anymore. Right? Because, Indian government really tried hard to contain that in cities, right,
Okay.
with all the pandemic law. But in towns and villages, people like, yeah, man, whatever, like, come on.
Stop
You
me.
Yeah, you have like 10 cops in a damn village of like 3,000 people. What are you going to do about it?
Yeah, okay.
Right? Yeah,
Right.
so we did not get much affected, but also there was a lot of pressure from local businesses, right, to restart. Yeah. I mean, the worst thing that I feel like to come out of pandemic is the QR menu, that you
Mm-hmm.
have to go and scan, and just to read a
Oh,
menu.
yeah. There's
Yeah.
like no humanity.
Yeah, and you have to sit in your table and order even now. I'm like, why?
Less interaction.
You're
It's
right. I
icky.
mean, businesses love it because it's reduction of cost, but
Well, yeah, they don't have to deal with shortages as much.
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
and they
at
don't have to
least not that
hire
position.
people. Yep. Yeah. Thank you so much, Amy, for being here, right, talking to us. I know it's super late. Yeah,
I'm
but thank
good.
you so much. And yeah, tell my audience where to find you and how can they listen to your podcast.
Oh my goodness. So my name is Amy Fagan, and my podcast is called Grounded in Maine, because I lived in Maine, and it's about sustainability, and we talk a lot about food.
Mhm.
Um,
And where can they find you? Don't say I'm
oh,
easy to find.
sorry. I, I, well, I mean, I'm mainly on Instagram. I have
Mhm.
my Facebook page is linked to Instagram, so anything I post on Instagram goes on Facebook.
Mhm.
So if you want to see me, I'm on Instagram at Grounded in Maine Podcast. Um, yeah,
Got it.
that's pretty much it. Because I'm busy and I'm tired.
Yeah, that's the shortest cell that I've ever seen in my life.
The shortest cell.
Yeah.
I am not everywhere. I am. I don't know. I'm just I resist. I resist a lot. I
Mhm.
have an X account. I have a TikTok account. I open it up every so often and there's like yelling and I just it's just too noisy, too loud. So I just close it right back up.
Got it.
And X
Um,
requires too much work. I
yeah,
just
X is too much work. Yeah, honestly. Yeah. Any final words to, my audience that you want to leave them with?
oh my gosh. Um think about think about where your food comes from,
Hmm.
since we're talking about food today, but
Yeah.
also just I'm going to say no, just think about where your food comes from.
Mhm.
I don't want to get too deep.
Yeah.
Uh
You
like we
almost went
haven't
to a
already.
yeah, you almost went to a Kanye mode where you're like, yeah, the world's not ready for this shit yet.
Right.
Yeah. I mean,
Because
this
I'm
episode.
so advanced,
Uh,
but
yeah.
no. I had a there was a one of my previous podcast guests actually did a post on Instagram today. I'll send it to you because it was beautiful.
Hmm.
Um you're on Instagram, right?
Come on. Of course.
No, I'm the one that's not on anything. But
Yes.
yeah, I'll send that because it was so beautiful.
Mhm.
But so Kari Opendo is her name, and she is autistic,
Mhm.
and her mom was autistic. And
Mhm.
when she was 7, her mom like bailed,
Mhm.
and not because she was bad, but just because as an autistic person, that was a lot to take on.
Mhm.
And so she was brought up by her grandparents, and so she was telling this story about being a teenage mom, and like
Mhm.
living in a car, and because it's suicide prevention,
Mhm.
suicide awareness month, I guess.
Mhm.
And so it was about that and just how desperate she felt, and I'm going to get out of this darkness, I swear. But so she and her son was helping her with her design business,
Mhm.
and she taught him, like, they connected over sewing and stuff like that. And so they were working together on this design business. She decided to get out of the design business and work in education, and
Mhm.
um, she was terrified that the kids in the schools did not know
Mhm.
where their food came from.
Mhm.
So that she just had such a hard time with that, and so she ended up leaving. But and so now she's in Georgia in the
Mhm.
U.S., and this is hysterical. She has a farm with
Mhm.
her husband and three three or four children. I think
Mhm.
her oldest is in college now.
Mhm.
He is also autistic. So she's autistic. Her mom was autistic. She has two
Mhm.
sons that are autistic. But so they have this farm, and they raise alpacas, and they
Mhm.
sell the alpaca poop
Mhm.
for fertilizer. And she calls herself a duty dealer. But it was
Yeah.
it was this beautiful post about, because she's teaching people about where their food comes from and how to use it, and just how valuable it is, because she
Mhm.
she came from a place where, she was in such desperate times that she didn't know where she was going to get food to feed
Mhm.
herself and her kid. So it was just beautiful, and it was so encouraging because, she really pulled herself up
Mhm.
and made something for herself. And she, from that place of not knowing where her next meal was going to come from, she is teaching other people to
Mhm.
appreciate that and to grow their own food.
Yeah. I mean, she should have that title as like the official title.
Duty dealer?
Yep.
Heck yeah.
Right. A T-shirt would sell better. I feel like. Um.
Except that she's totally fashionable. Like, she will wear a black leather skirt in the garden
Mm.
and to go collect chicken eggs and stuff. And she's all dolled up because she's like, I'm in fashion. I live on a farm, but I am still fashionable.
Mhm.
And she wears
Got
high
it.
heels.
Nice. So yeah, thank you so much, Amy, once again for for being here, and to my folks, guys, this is the end of the episode. If you're not yet offended, thank you so much for being here. And until next time, yeah, thank you and take care. Bye bye. Before we wrap up, one last nod to our friends at Smarty. If you're serious about keeping your address data in check, whether it's validating, auto-completing, or digging into property info, Smarty is your go-to tool. They have got the speed, accuracy, and the trust of top names like Uber. So don't settle for less. Swing by smarty.com/podcast to see how they can help your business. Thank you for tuning in. We will catch you later.